out today. Seems like there's a lot of news that's been coming out the past 48 hours, and I guess we can kind of Eagle Rock in the building. Okay, shout out to Eagle Rock. Go Dubs. All right, so a lot has come out in the past 48 hours. Let's kind of back it up really quick because we're about to get right into it. So TMZ came out with an article. God, I don't know if we're gonna be able to find it. Whatever. TMZ came out with an article 2 days ago that said, actually yesterday, it was just yesterday when they said that there was a second person that was identified. Then I want to say about a couple hours later, they dropped another bombshell article. And as you can see here, it reads that Celeste Rivas, the body was found in a frozen state. The cause of death may never be determined. So that kind of sent the entire internet into a frenzy, and a lot of people started just bringing up old posts that people have found on the Reddit. And a lot of speculation has been circling back around regarding the whole freezer theory. So let's kind of get back. Let's kind of jump into this article. So it says here, Celeste Rivas found in a frozen state. The cause of death may never be determined. This was posted yesterday at 3:37 p.m. And so the article reads, Celeste Rivas's body had been frozen, and as a result, it looks the LA County Medical Examiner will not be able to establish a cause of death. Sources directly connected to the investigations tell TMZ. Now, according to those sources, the medical examiner received the body in horrendous condition. It was decapitated. And while the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. Now, we're told all of the body parts were partially frozen and had apparently been thawing out while sitting in the trunk of D4VD's Tesla. Let's keep reading this. Now, remember, David's vehicle had not been moved for several days when it was parked on the Hollywood Hills near his rental home, which resulted in it getting towed and then the body being found. As TMZ reported, Celeste's body was in such bad shape, initially investigators did not know if it was male or female. When the body was received by the ME's office, the initial determination was this was a victim of an apparent homicide, but our sources say the ME is now having trouble establishing an official manner of death, and it will most likely be undetermined. Other sources connected to the investigation tell TMZ the LAPD's robbery homicide division is viewing Celeste's death as a homicide. And even if the official cause of death is undetermined, authorities can move forward with an arrest. TMZ broke the story. David is now considered a suspect in Celeste's death. What's more, TMZ has learned there's a second suspect who authorities believed helped David in the dismemberment of Celeste's body. Mark Garagos appeared on the most recent Two Angry Men podcast and said that he knows the name of the second suspect, and authorities have told him the person might have been involved before, during, and after Celeste's death. TMZ also broke the story. A critical part of the case involves a trip investigators say David took to a remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night back in the spring, where he spent 2 hours. Now they're really dialing in on the amount of time that was spent. Nope, click out of that. Now they're saying that they spent 2 hours. Okay. If Celeste's body was taken to that area months before it was discovered in LA, it seems the operating theory is that David's body parts were put in some. What? It seems that the operating theory is that the body parts were put in some sort of freezer for a long time before it ended up in David's Tesla in the late summer. Yeah, Della Dank, decapitated, right? So the head was removed from the torso. Crazy, crazy. Lexi Moreno, welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it going? So this is the article, and it says that, let's kind of go back and take a look at this really quick. Skip this.
Yep. You're saying that there is
good
Oh, come on now, more.
And what they do, that the
I
last
really
thing
want to
I'd want
focus
to
on
do is
this
confirm
part
one
right over
way or
here is
another.
what they
All I
said.
will tell you is that they have closed the circle on what their investigation is at this point. I get them, and you don't often hear me say this, but I get them a lot of credit
I do too.
for the painstaking,
Yeah.
methodical analysis that they've done in this case. It's just so counterintuitive from what I'm used to seeing, that's why I think it's fascinating to you and fascinating to me. We've been doing this collectively for what, almost 100 years. It's really
stop. Why do you always end with that?
But it's incredible the tools that are being used in this case.
I know. Wow, this is fascinating. This was really interesting. Have a good weekend, my friend.
You too. Thanks.
See ya.
That wasn't what I wanted to show you guys. Hold on. Where is it at?
To get to the number 2 person who they clearly have a focus on, and they're running it down, and as well they should. And as to David himself, I mean, there are fundamental issues with the investigation, which is, by the way, why I think they have not arrested him and why they have been, at least initially, so close to the vest with the information they're releasing. There's just way too many variables at this point.
So, 2 things. One is, I will tell you that my best source in this, I was
Is it law enforcement?
I'm not going to say. I'm not even going to say.
Okay.
I can't even go there. But I'm 100 on this. I raised the issue of the Santa Barbara trip, and I didn't understand how the body would then end up in the Tesla. And all I was told back was,
welcome.
Don't try and use logic to understand this, which is kind of an interesting comment in itself. So I want to leave you with my last and biggest question. You have a name of somebody they're looking at, and I know why you don't want to use the name, and you shouldn't use the name. But
right, I won't do it.
No,
the first guy, if I was representing
I got
person, I'd be the first one to condemn somebody getting prematurely
but
hung out to dry.
I can ask a legit question. I think you can answer without compromising anything.
I think this is
man or woman.
That's a compromise.
It's 50% of the population.
Yes, I understand that's 50% of the population. Can I tell you something? Internet sleuths at this point are so good at what they do that the last thing I'd want to do is confirm one way or another. All I will tell you is that they have closed the circle on what their investigation is at this point. I get them, and you don't often hear me say this, but I get them a lot of credit.
I do too.
For the painstaking, methodical analysis that they've done in this case. It's just so counterintuitive from what I'm used to seeing, that's why I think it's fascinating to you and fascinating to me. We've been doing this collectively for what, almost 100 years. It's really
why do you always end with that?
But it's incredible the tools that are being used in this case.
I know. Wow, this is fascinating. This was really interesting. Have a good weekend, my friend.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so that was basically just a little quick recap. So they've identified a second suspect, and in this podcast, Mark Geragos had claimed that a name has been given to him, which he won't publicly state. So right now, and also there's a part in there. Hey, Yashoda, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. But one of the things that he's alluding to is one, that he has a name for that second suspect, and then 2, which we didn't kind of replay it, but he is saying that whoever the second suspect is that is identified has a lot to do with being the person that moved the car last. So I thought that was pretty strange. I don't know, he doesn't want to drop any names, but And then another bombshell dropped right after this podcast. I want to say maybe about 2-3 hours later. Harvey Levin came out, posted a video on TikTok, on TMZ TikTok, and this is what he said.
Developments in the Celeste Rivas death. TMZ has learned that her body had been frozen, and when it was found, it was still partially frozen in the back of David's car, and it was in such bad condition that we are told the medical examiner may never be able to establish the cause of death. So here's what we know. When the body was found, it was in terrible condition. It had been decapitated, the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed, and they were cut up severely. The body was partially frozen in the trunk. And this is really important because remember, the body had been sitting there for days before it was finally impounded and then the body discovered. And it was still, the body parts were still partially frozen. So we are told that when the body first went to the medical examiner's office in early September, it was listed as an apparent homicide, but that was just from what seemed obvious, that the body was cut up into pieces. The medical examiner is having a really tough time right now trying to figure out what the cause of death was. We are told it is likely the cause of death will go undetermined because of the condition of the body and the fact that it was frozen and the fact that it was cut up the way it was. So we have told you that we know David is a suspect, and even if it is undetermined, the LAPD can still move forward, as could the LA County District Attorney. The LAPD is viewing this as a homicide. David is a suspect. We know this. And one of the keys to the case is a trip that authorities say David made in the middle of the night back in this spring to a remote area of Santa Barbara County. We are now also told that there is a second suspect, and our information is that the second suspect has something to do with the cutting up of the body. Now, Mark Garagos, who is my co-host on the Two Angry Men podcast, told us in the most recent podcast that his information is that this second suspect is being looked at not just for dismembering the body, but also for what happened before, during, and after Celeste's death. So there is a second suspect that the LAPD has its sights on. They have identified the person. Garriga says he knows who it is, not saying, but it is a second suspect implicated here. So obviously the question, how on earth did this body go from Santa Barbara, if that's indeed where it was taken? And that seems to be the operating theory of the LAPD, that if it was taken to Santa Barbara, how did it end up back in Los Angeles in the trunk of David's car in a residential neighborhood? The only thing that makes sense, and that's months and months later, the only thing that makes sense is that based on connecting the dots, it would seem that this body was put in a freezer for an extended period of time. And it was so frozen that by the time it got in the car, it took a long, long time for it to unfreeze, and it had not fully unfrozen at the time the body was discovered at the impound lot. So again, it looks like there may never be a cause of death determined by the medical examiner. The body was frozen. Just keep looking at TMZ. We will have more updates as the days pass.
All right, so that was a video from TMZ. Now I want to bring us over to Matt Thibodeau, who's been he's been contributing a lot to this investigation, or at least to the case, and putting a lot of information out there to the public. So I want to kind of circle back around to his video regarding the whole freezer theory. So let me get your thoughts on this video right over here.
Morning, guys. So last night I made a video talking about the freezer that is in the background of one of David's YT shorts from September of 2024. We were able to find out where this studio/residence is located and people who are associated and who have been in this residence/studio along with David, one of which is a producer that David has worked with in the past, Andrew Luce. This morning, Andrew sent me a message and he thankfully has provided clarity pertaining to the specific freezer in the background of one of David's videos. He says, the latest video you posted of the freezer is from the entryway of my studio. My girlfriend had an obsession with Dippin' Dots, which need a very cold freezer to keep their shape, and I thought it would be a sweet and funny gift to get her a sub-zero fridge so that she could enjoy more Dippin' Dots. He says that there's no connection here. He said that prior to David filming this video with the freezer in the background, that freezer had been sitting there for about 6 months because that was a gift that he had given his girlfriend for Valentine's Day in 2024. He said that the freezer was purchased well before he and Brian Barnes ever even met David. He even said that the freezer is still sitting in the same exact spot as it was in this video in September of 2024 because it's super heavy and he and his girlfriend have not figured out a place to put it. So this specific freezer right here, unrelated, still unopened, still sitting in the same spot. So hopefully that provides some clarity for you all. Hope you guys have a great day and I will talk to you guys as soon as anything else comes out. Morning.
And then I came across another video that Matt Thibodeau posted, and now this video seems to be challenging the theory or the speculations that TMZ has put out, right? And this is the first time that I'm hearing about this. I don't know. We'll watch the video and then we'll see when he actually posted it, but I literally just came across this right before we went on live. So check this video out.
I'm pretty sure that Morning, guys. Oh, wait, so hold on. I'm pretty sure that I already talked about the freezer in the background.
This was the first video that he put out.
Morning, guys. So and
then he came out with this video.
All right, guys. So is TMZ's source an actual credible source close to LAPD when it comes to what they shared yesterday about Celeste's body being partially frozen and dismembered when found in David's frunk? So someone who claims that they worked at the facility where Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was sent to be processed after she was found has spoken out. And while what they're saying is somewhat similar to what TMZ was sharing yesterday, it's not exactly the same. This person said that when Celeste was brought to this specific facility, she weighed approximately 90 pounds according to paperwork, and she was in a severely decomposed, mummified state. They said that she was brought to this facility in one piece and that she had a full body bag. This person also said that she had a viscera bag. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a screenshot on the screen right here. I'm not going to go into that. And it says that based on the evidence that the autopsy showed, it does indicate that she was kept in a cool place at one point, but not necessarily frozen. After Celeste's autopsy was performed, this person said that she was transported to the Cavalry mortuary where her body was worked on and prepared for her services. She was then transported to Queen of Heaven for burial, where her family had a closed casket for services. This person also says that the reason Celeste's information was removed from the medical examiner's website was due to the amount of calls that they were receiving about Celeste. People were posing as family members, people were posing as lawyers, trying to get inside information out of them, and it was just becoming too much. So did TMZ misinterpret something? Did they jump to conclusions with limited information that they were given and in return share things that were not entirely accurate to this case? Or is it possible that this person who's claiming to have worked at the facility where Celeste's body was processed may just not know everything? I don't know. You guys take that how you will. This is obviously becoming increasingly frustrating. What are you guys thinking? Let me know in the comments.
That's a little weird to me, that TMZ came out with this bombshell of an article stating that her body was frozen and that she had been dead since the springtime. And then now this video is coming out where a worker from the facility where her body was processed says otherwise. Didi says, did anyone know the type of bag he referenced before just now? Not me. No, I had no idea. And actually, I'm curious because I do want to know, what is a viscera bag? So it says here that a viscera bag used by pathologists and embalmers to store the internal organs after an autopsy or during embalming. It is typically made of a durable, leak-resistant material and is used to hold the organs while they are examined, after which it is placed back inside the body cavity before the body is sutured shut. So that's very interesting. I don't know, how much credit do you guys think this video has? Because if that is the case, then that means there are conflicting stories coming out between TMZ and what may possibly be the truth. Didi says, yeah, that's something you'd want to be sure of first. Yashoda says, must have been a thermos sort of bag. So yeah, it says here, so normally a viscera bag, I'm assuming it's a, let's see if there's any images about it. Viscera bags with ties for embalming. I've never, in my professional career, I've never had to use an embalming bag. I've definitely have used body bags before in the past where I've had to place people in, but they're not this type of material. They're more sort of, I don't know what type of material. I've used some that are similar to this and this. And just in case you guys are wondering, I'm a nurse, you guys, so I've dealt with a lot of people passing in the past, and you know, a lot of times we'd have to place our patients in body bags, especially during COVID. Body bags were a huge thing that we had to utilize. Being Baby said multiple resources involved high-end people. I'm curious. So how many of you guys think TMZ jumped the gun? Type of 1 in the comments if you guys think TMZ jumped the gun. Type of 2 in the comments if you think that this article may have a little bit of truth to it. Let's watch this again because I want to take in everything that he's saying.
All right, guys. So is TMZ's source an actual credible source close to LAPD when it comes to what they shared yesterday about Celeste's body being partially frozen and dismembered when found in David's frunk? So someone who claims that they worked at the facility where Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was sent to be processed after she was found has spoken out. And while what they're saying is somewhat similar to what TMZ was sharing yesterday, it's not exactly
not sure.
This person said that when Celeste was brought to this specific facility, she weighed approximately 90 pounds according to paperwork, and she was in a severely decomposed, mummified state. They said that she was brought to this facility in one piece and that she had a full body bag. This person also said that she had a viscera bag. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a screenshot on the screen right here. I'm not going to go into that. And it says that based on the evidence that the autopsy showed, it does indicate that she was kept in a cool place at one point, but not necessarily frozen. After Celeste's autopsy was performed, this person said that she was transported to the Cavalry mortuary where her body was worked on and prepared for her services. She was then transported to Queen of Heaven for burial, where her family had a closed casket for services. This person also says that the reason Celeste's information was removed from the medical examiner's website was due to the amount of calls that they were receiving about Celeste. People were posing as family members, people were posing as lawyers, trying to get inside information out of them, and it was just becoming too much. So did TMZ misinterpret something? Did they jump to conclusions with limited information that they were given, and in return share things that were not entirely accurate to this case? Or is it possible that this person who's claiming to have worked at the facility where Celeste's body was processed may just not know everything? I don't know. You guys take that how you will. This is obviously becoming increasingly frustrating. What are you guys thinking? Let me know in the comments.
So is TMZ jumping to conclusions? Are they putting out wrong information? Now I want to go back to X, right? A couple of days ago, 20 hours ago, SF Investigates posted a tweet that said wrong. So I'm curious, what do you think he was tweeting about? Now, in the past couple of days, SF Investigates has been posting a few trolling. Let's go back to SF Investigate. He's been posting a few trolling tweets. Today, where is he at? So he's currently in Vegas in the mountains searching for another missing person. He said, watching a rag tabloid get trolled would be hilarious under almost any circumstances beside at the expense of a teenager. Then he posted wrong. I'm curious what he is referencing to in this tweet. I think also, let's check his replies because I read somewhere that he responded. So someone posted on X, did David's high-profile attorney Burke send you a cease and desist letter threatening to sue you and your employer, the landlord, for defamation, legal reasons, or a defamation lawsuit? You can tell us, and then we will say let that B try to sue all of us. Team Steve. Steve responded to... Oh, I guess this was in response to his tweet that said, because of the volume of calls and emails I've received following TMZ's reporting from an unnamed source, quote unquote source, I need to state that for legal reasons, I cannot provide any further public comment on the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case at this time. This is not permanent, but for now, this is the situation. My client's goal and my goal remain justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So then somebody responded to that comment, and then he responded back with, absolutely not. I would tear it up and walk into her office and give it back to her if I got anything from David's lawyer. Everyone thinks she is a power lawyer. Meanwhile, her clients like Weinstein are in prison and Gibson pleaded guilty. I don't see what is great about her. I have 0.0 fear of her or David. Some of the responses said, what's great about her is that she's worked to ensure the guilty are in prison, even if they're her clients. Let there be justice. She charges great big fees. Okay. It seems to be all of the responses from that. Let's see. Stoner Detectives, welcome. Good to see you. Yashoda said, when a body is frozen and then thawed, decomposition is faster than it is ordinarily in the body because prior decomposition that stalled kickstarts the process with dormant bacteria getting aggressive. That is good to know. I think SF is referencing to TMZ, something TMZ said is wrong. So Lexi, I want to know what you think. What do you think TMZ reported that was incorrect? Do you think it was wrong that she was discovered partially frozen? Do you think it was the part where she was killed in the springtime? Because a lot of people are still thinking that, the timeline for her death is still inaccurate. And a lot of people on Reddit have been thinking that, Celeste still may have died in early 2025 back in January or February. So, let's kind of go down the rabbit hole on Reddit and see what anybody else has said. Now, we're just going to kind of scroll down. If you guys see a post that you guys want to read into more, let me know. Rush to judgment. Let's see. Bean Baby said, what if she was skulking a dip, not knowing that's how she is? Huh? I'm being harassed by these Discord users that are in contact with Steve Fisher. They gave him my name to scare me. You can trust me on this. SF Investigates. No, I trust you. I don't need one. Sophia is a name that is constantly come up in the Discord server, if I'm not mistaken. What if she says tripping a lot? Bean Baby says, so Lexi, you don't believe that she was partially frozen? What do you believe? I'm curious. Bean Baby says, tripping a lot. Oops. All good, Bean Baby. You don't have to explain. Wonder if she says tripping a lot and very aggressive. Could be. I mean, we did see in that video, the TMZ video, where she was a little firecracker, right? So this is claiming that they're being stalked by people on Discord. And I wonder what it's about. Okay, so this is just a post that was responded to. The body. Let's see what this says. So this is a song from David called Ghost, and the lyrics read, "Oh, why don't you love me? Oh, heaven or hell, we will meet. Lucky me, lucky me, lucky me, just to have met. Torture me, torture me, torture me. I can't forget. He might have you, but I've got your ghost, and we both know that's the real you. And God knows it's true. I love you the most, but we both know what I have to do." That's weird. I find that just so odd. What do you guys think about these lyrics? Yashoda said, but that's hormones. At that age, kids are a lot more aggressive and rebellious. Oh, yeah, totally agree. Dub said, it was still 100 degrees out in LA during that time. There's no way she was still frozen. July 29th is when the Tesla was last moved. The car, when was the car towed? Was it towed on September 5th? And then on September 8th, her body was discovered in the frunk. Somebody fact check me on my dates, because I can't remember right off the top. Please don't forget the very telling TikToks David shared about violence. Is a toxicology report going to make it unable for us to tell if she OD'd? I think at this point, when it comes to the toxicology reports, we probably will not be able to identify or come to the conclusion if there was an overdose, right? I know they were saying on one of the Nancy Grace, thank you, Innocent Killer. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for fact checking. When it comes to the toxicology reports, they were saying that because of the length of decomposition her body was in, that it would be probably impossible to get a quantitative report on the amount of drugs in her body. But they would be able to get a qualitative report, meaning they would be able to determine the type of drugs that were found in her body. But quantitative, they won't be able to test. So they would be able to test if there was cocaine, methamphetamines, marijuana, what else? Ecstasy. But they wouldn't be able to tell you how much. Now, I do think that if the qualitative report does come back positive, that they could still file some charges for giving drugs to a minor, if I'm not mistaken. But if we have any lawyers in here, please correct me, because I'm still not even sure what type of charges they're going to proceed with. But then also, TMZ did report in the Two Angry Men podcast yesterday that even if the toxicology results come back negative, that they can still process murder charges. So we're going to have to wait and kind of see. Lexi said she was frozen at some point, that that was 40 days in a frunk to be still frozen. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I know that there's been floating theories going around yesterday regarding what's it called? Um about a potential freezer or a cooler in the Tesla, but none of that has come up as fact yet. So, in the light of recent news, the music video seems even more disturbing and eerie. What video is this? What do you guys think of this? So apparently, this is supposed to be Itami, and this is in this is the music video, right? So in the music video, you can see his alter ego Itami cutting apart a girl, which is weird because now that I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like she's potentially wearing black leggings and sort of a tube top. So, damn, that's crazy. David is burying himself in another music video. And, hold on. Somebody sent me a photo. I want to send these to myself really quick and then I'll show them to you because they caught my eye and they looked really strange. I have it here somewhere. Hold on. Let me put it up. Look at that photo, though, you guys. Take a look at that. Who do you guys see in that photo? Let me send this to myself really quick. Did someone fact check? Is this correct? 9.5 Tesla impounded 9.8. She was found. Innocent Killer did say yes, that was correct. So I'm hoping that those dates are good. I do want to show you another. Let me tap upload. That would help. So it's funny though, because if you take a look at this photo just looks really strange to me, right? Now, obviously, this is a shot of a music video, and you can see David and you can see two other people here, right? And what happens was they loaded a dead body into the trunk of a car. Now, it wasn't a Tesla, but it is a BMW, right? Now, I want to show you another photo. Let's see. What's the best way to open up this photo? Guess we're going to have to use this. And so I came across this photo, and it's a photo. Way to zoom in. This is a photo of another person or another shot in that music video. And to me, that looks like this person right over here. And this person is, and you can't tell me that this person in this video does not resemble this person right over here, right? And so I can't help but wonder, does anybody know what video this is? Because I don't know any of his music. Somebody tell me in the comments, because I wonder if we can just kind of watch this video without the audio. Somebody type it in the chat. What song is this? And type a 1 in the chat if this person in this video resembles Neo the Asian. If any of you guys know the name of this song, type it in the chat so then we can go watch this video really quick. Let's see. Let's look at it. I do not want to subscribe to him. Okay, so it's called One More Dance. Let's see. So this is the music video. And then I know somebody in another live kept asking what shoes the person was wearing. And here it looks like the person's wearing Chuck Taylors. Thank you, Innocent Killer. So here we see an image of Itami, right? This is really strange, right? So here you can see that there are two people helping him. And it's crazy because look at where they're at. They're in a very secluded area. This is just weird to me. Is this not weird to you guys? This is crazy. This person here definitely looks like Neo, and this person right here, well, I mean, you guys already know. Yeah, you can't tell me that does not look, or that does not resemble Neo. And that this person does not somewhat have a resemblance to, minus the piercings, have a resemblance to. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm being weird. Really curious. Did they ever take a trip to Home Depot? Okay, hold on. And so if this person is supposed to resemble Neo, oh, and they were saying something about the lyrics in here. 40 degrees around us. They were saying something about like the lyrics in this about 40 degrees around us, meaning like that's like the temperature of not what a freezer is, but maybe a refrigerator. This would be their getaway from the police. Stoic, welcome. Stoic says, "Hey Flojo, hey everybody, good to see you. Heck yeah, it's weird. It's so similar to what happened. I don't even did they just tattoo him with a 4? That's yikes. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little weird. Yeah, that was weird. That's a little disturbing. Celeste purse or no? What do you guys think? Does that look like Celeste's purse in the background? No, I think that looks like a backpack. It looks more so like a small little backpack as opposed to the black purse that Celeste had. And then I saw this come up a lot. Is David bi? Him and Neo could have been in a relationship and maybe got jealous of Celeste or something, which could have led to her death. I just don't understand how someone else would be so willing to chop up a body unless they had hatred for the girl too. The TMZ article is disturbing. This can't be okay, my girlfriend just OD'd and this is my way to cover it up. There's a reason the LAPD is still treating this as a homicide, even if it wasn't Neo. The other person had to have had hatred and had to be deeply close with David. I get that David could have paid someone off, but David is someone I literally just heard of from this case. He's not some top tier Diddy level celebrity. He might be at this point, right? or probably David and the other suspect killed her together, and they both felt that they had to cover it up together. And honestly, this just confirms they knew Celeste was a missing child because they knew they had plenty of time since no one was looking. And no, that's so true. They had all the time in the world because no one was looking for her and no one cared. This is exactly why missing children should be deeply prioritized. Killers go for the vulnerable. Now, I want to bring up a few photos that I do have too, but I do need to send them to myself. These are interesting too because I came across these. And I don't know. Hold on. Where are they? Where? These were interesting to me. Aha, found them. One second, you guys. These are going to be good. All right, you guys ready for this? Now, if you guys were tuning into Rabbit's Live earlier today, you may have seen them. Here, let's do this. I don't know why this works like that. So I came across these photos, and this says, Darcy, welcome. Not Innocent Killer says, not gonna lie, I thought David was gay. Just saying. Stoic said, it's pretty chillin'. I hadn't seen that before either. Very disturbing video, says Lexi. Yashoda said Celeste was a threat. She was underage, and that could derail his career. That would have taken off. She could have dragged him down, and they were way too deep for him to send her back home. I just feel like let me show this photo really quick first before. Where is it? This one right here. This photo right here. You know, when I first saw this photo, I was really shocked to see a photo of Celeste with her entire face showing. And, you know, I noticed that it was really different from what we'd all seen previously because she had always had maybe some glasses on and she had her face covered. But then when this photo came out, right, you can tell that she's got a septum piercing, and some people even said that like right here may have potentially been a tattoo or her hair. To me, it looks like a small little tattoo with the letter D on it. I don't know. Could be me. Whatever. Fight me. I don't care. I'm sticking to it. I think it was a tattoo with the letter D on it. Could have been her hair, but whatever. But when I was looking at this photo, you know, what I was telling myself was Celeste looks so much different in this photo than she does in a lot of her other photos. And I was thinking to myself, you know, she looks a lot older, right? Not 18, but she looks a lot older than the 13, 14-year-old girl that we've seen in other photos. And I was thinking to myself, what if he did it because he just wasn't in love with her anymore? Because she was starting to look older, right? I mean, that could just be, you know, that's just my speculation, just a thought that came into my mind when I saw this. But, you know, after looking at this photo, I was like, she does look a lot older than I'm normally used to seeing her in the photos that we have. And then I saw this photo, right? Apparently, this is a photo of David and another person who is supposedly a minor. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. This hasn't been confirmed or verified, but apparently this is a photo of David and another girl. Now, it looks like he's got his hands wrapped around her waist, and it looks like he's kissing her on the side of the face. I don't know. What do you guys think about this photo? That is just some weird stuff. And then who remembers this video right here? Yeah, innocent killer, right? That's what I said. What? And then I was reminded that this happened. Hold on.
Who does this look like? Who does this look like? Who does this look like?
Look at his face, you guys. Look at the face that he has. Look at that stare that he gives. Doesn't he look like he's seen a ghost? I just found that so funny. His reaction.
Who does this look like?
I mean, obviously the girl doesn't look like Celeste at all. I mean, it's not Celeste. I don't know. Does it resemble her? Maybe the curly hair, right? And I don't know if there's anything on her shirt that he could have been looking at. I don't know what that says. I got e-harmed. I don't know.
Who does this look like?
I just found that really weird. You said zoom in on the picture. Let me see if there's something that I can do with that photo. Let's see if we can. Let me see. Is this it? I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I'll have to screenshot it. Maybe have to bring that in. There you go. What do you guys think? Yashoda said, "Oh yes, he was spooked, but when a girl he knows is dead shows up with some similarities, he's got to be spooked. Or maybe it turns him on. I don't know. I just feel like that's so weird." I'm going to have to save this. Let's see what else the Reddits have to say. So here, let's read this. Him and Neo could have been in a relationship and maybe got jealous of Celeste or something, which could have led to her death. I just don't understand how someone else would be so willing to chop up a body unless they had hatred for the girl too. The TMZ article is disturbing. This can't be okay, my girlfriend just OD'd and this is just a way to cover it up. There's a reason the LAPD is still treating this as a homicide. Even if it wasn't Neo, the other person had to have hatred and had to be deeply close to David. I get that David could have paid someone off, but David is someone I literally just heard of from this case. He's not some top-tier Diddy level celebrity. Or probably David and the other suspect killed her together and they both felt they had to cover it up together. And honestly, this confirms they knew Celeste was a missing girl because they knew they had plenty of time since no one else was looking for her and no one cared. This is exactly why missing children should be deeply prioritized. Killers go for the vulnerable. Now, I want to bring up this video because Trapmore Ross touched on this too. And we'll play this video and we'll get your thoughts on it too. I'm just gonna go use the bathroom. We'll go watch this and we can talk about it.
A lover, the person who actually moved the body. I'm not joking. Okay, this is a genuine theory that's going around, and there's more evidence for this theory than you might think. Okay, I'm keeping it real with you. I've got a lot of evidence that I'm going to show you in this video that makes me think that David might, in my opinion, have been in a gay relationship with Neo. And there might have been a whole lot of reasons why both of them wanted the alleged underage girlfriend of David to disappear. Now, I've got all the links lined up. I'm going to break it all down for you now. There is this crazy post that's currently going around Reddit that's saying, is David bi and could he have been in a gay relationship with Neo? And that might have been what led to the murder of Celeste over jealousy. But before we get to that, okay, I've got to tell you everything that's been going on because TMZ did post this today and a lot of people have been distracted by the news that the body was allegedly frozen. They're overlooking this crazy, I can't believe what I'm seeing, okay? They've reported, and a lot of people have glossed over this, they're looking at the freezer now, but it's been reported a second suspect has been identified and it was apparently the last person to use David's Tesla. LAPD homicide detectives have ID'd a second suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas, and it's someone who law enforcement says could be involved before, during, and after her death. Mark Garagos dropped the new info on the latest Two Angry Men podcast after speaking with people directly involved in the case. He said that law enforcement has done a stunningly impressive job connecting the dots in this case using a combination of cell phone and Tesla data along with location data from social media. Garagos and Harvey from TMZ both independently confirmed with sources that a central part of the case is a mysterious trip that David took to a remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night last spring. They had conversations with their sources, and investigators believed that her body might have been in the car, and Garagos insinuates various data showed the second suspect may have also been in the vehicle at that time. Who is this second suspect? Well, people have had a clue about this. People have had their theories about this for over a month. This was a post that came out quite some time ago when the private investigator, Steve Fisher, he said he knows who moved the Tesla with the body in the trunk. He basically inferred, okay, that he knew.
And do me a favor, you guys, really quick. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe, okay? Hit that like button for me one time, please. Come on now. Hit that like button.
Drive the Tesla. It wasn't David. This was on October the 17th, 2025, over a month ago. Okay. This is the second comment, the second top comment. The MF who moved the car right now, sweating. David and that MF. 1 month ago, Neo. All right. And they're cracking jokes here. Not even the Matrix will save him. But people thought a month ago that Neo was the last person who moved this car. And there's comments all over this post that are over a month old saying he has to be alluding to Neo moving the car. He called him out on X a few days ago. He's not the kind of person that made substantiated allegations. It has me questioning Neo as well. Okay? People are saying, this is what Steve tweeted. He said, let's speculate the Tesla was moved the last time and left in the parking spot it was impounded from right before tour started in San Francisco. Who actually moved the Tesla the final time? You don't get answers unless you ask questions. So I'll ask, was it Neo? Just curious. People are saying this Neo character is involved for sure. Also, he said the car was moved before they went on tour. Neo went on tour with David, and that is Neo. All right? And people are saying that there might have been some kind of romantic relationship going on between them. People are hating on Neo. It says, I went through his Instagram. He seems like the most brain-dead F-boy. If it was him, no wonder the whole attempt of disposing of the body was so messy. All right. Everybody's bringing Neo's name up, comes up comment after comment after comment months ago, or over a month ago. And this theory, it's been going around a whole bunch. This hasn't just come out of nowhere. People are posting, what's with Neo? Why is everyone mad at him? People are trying to find out. And they're saying, from what the PI's been saying, it looked like he was the last person to move the car, and he would have known she was in there due to the smell. He's pretty much gone lockdown on all socials. And
Master Death said he probably had Neo plant the camera to keep the story hot and drop off a bunch of pills to throw off the PI and the cops. So you think that he placed the pills after the house was searched? After they served that search warrant? Yoshida said the timing of her death is proof for motive. He was releasing his album and going on global tour. He couldn't take her with him, and she could have been a thorn in his side. Agree.
Think he posted something a couple hours ago with a song and some odd stuff. We don't know why he used the song, but it's some bad timing with weird lyrics that can be inferred as him essentially mocking, but more acknowledging everything that's happening. Okay? People suspect Neo because he's known David for years. He's very close to David and overly affectionate with him in photos, especially after February 2025. There's easily 50 examples of the above. Steve made comments about Neo, and Neo's gone silent on social media. So this is an old clip of Neo saying that he's known David for years
now. So, like, people thought that I met him through Sakura, but no, I've known David for years, and I met Sakura like 2 months ago through Tofu. And then my worlds just kind of combined together, and it just was kind of funny.
So they've known each other for years. So look, let's just get to it, okay? This is a post that's currently going around on the Celeste subreddit. It said, is David bisexual? Him and Neo could have been in a relationship, and maybe he got jealous of Celeste or something, which could have led to her death. I just don't understand how someone else would be so willing to chop up a body unless they had hatred for the girl too. The TMZ article is disturbing. This can't be okay, my...
Master Death and Hancock said he wanted her to be 15 years old and 15 songs on his new CD, the cover up from the trip where he was going to bury her. Ooh. Wow.
Girlfriend just OD'd, and this is a way to...
Yoshida said the metal bracelet she was wearing on her body with the W, was it not for Withered? If so, she died after the release of his album.
It up. There's a reason the LAPD is still treating this as a homicide. Even if it wasn't Neo, the other person had to have had hatred and had to be deeply close with David. I get that David could have paid someone off, but David is someone I literally just heard of from this case. He's not some top-tier Diddy-level celebrity. Or probably David and the other suspect killed her together, and they both felt they had to cover it up together. And honestly, this just confirms they knew Celeste was a missing child because they know they had plenty of time since no one was looking and no one cared. This is exactly why missing children should be deeply prioritized. Killers go for the vulnerable. And people are in the comments. Some people are saying it's more likely they both had an obsession with gore and wanted to experiment with it together. People are saying it's truly disturbing. Like, if they both did, why choose to act on the obsession? Like, did they feel it would be swept under the rug since she was missing? And why is she in the trunk now? At that point, if they ate her, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, people are saying they're asking the wrong question, okay? But this isn't new. This isn't something that's just been made up. A lot of people are saying David, Neo, and Asia seem like they were all together in some kind of relationship. Some people are saying David definitely is bi. He seems depraved as F, and he probably hurt animals as a child. Okay, but there are other things that are going around that seem to hint towards something weird going on between them. This was a post that went around, and this was 16 days ago. Neo and the elephant in the room. He posted this. All right. This is just a little something, all right? This is just a little something on top of all the other stuff. But he said, LMFAO forgot I'm not allowed to make any jokes or do anything remotely gay now. And then he posted this rubber band in the shape of a ding-dong. And he said, they're definitely going to think you're gay for this one.
Master Dad, thank you
now,
for
a lot of people were hating on him. They weren't coming
at
the bisexual angle, but they were saying, how do I make myself the main character in awe of his dissonance? You were in the close circle of a PDF and potential murderer. There are very little crimes more horrendous than this. Ever since Celeste had been identified, this man has continued partying in LA, called the situation nothing, and complained about people calling him gay online. I don't think I met many people with such low levels of empathy. And people have been calling out that Asia girl, saying she's no better. She's a sociopath. Okay, they're saying all of these could have been avoided. He should have made a statement that said, RIP, I'm sorry this happened. I had nothing to do with it. I'm working with the LAPD to bring justice. But it doesn't sound like that's what's happening. Okay? As people who are never involved in hiding a murder, it's almost common sense to us to want to do that. He's saying it because so many people on Facebook and Instagram are saying he and David are actually gay lovers and plan to kill Celeste to be together. He's saying, I would say something too. People are thinking this is absolutely crazy. And it is crazy. David's got comments on posts on Neo's page talking about who else cried.
I find this really weird. That's so odd, disgusting.
Is it a joke or is he serious? Or is it the truth said in jest? He's talking about looking at posts that Neo's put up and saying he came. And then Neo's replying saying, I cried and came on you. Is it a funny joke? Is it a funny joke with some truth behind it? Is it a funny joke that goes absolutely to try and distract from maybe something that was really going on, trying to make a little light of something that is actually really going on? I don't know, but I do feel like there's a lot of very strange things like this. People are saying, looks like the cleanup was incomplete. David's comment is still on this guy's page, part of the original crew. He made a statement calling a dead child being found in his friend's car nothing, and he's still partying it up on his IG stories. Does anyone know what this guy does? Looking at his Instagram, it seems like he's just some regular school-aged kid, and I wonder how David got acquainted with them. Okay, so there's a number of kind of pouty pictures of them together, and then there's also this picture that's been going around, right? David and Neo laid out together. They look like they're on the floor with some like cushions laid out, and David's wearing a shirt that says, sounds gay, I'm in. And he's got his hand tucked underneath Neo's waist, all right? And there's nothing wrong with it. Look, any kind of love, any kind of sexuality is cool with me. But when bodies are being found in trunks,
Innocent Killer, thank you for that. I appreciate it. My bad. I do apologize. I was on mute. I was just saying, what do you guys think about this whole entire relationship between the two? Do you guys think that there were secretly, doing things behind the scenes? Do you think that they were just more than friends, or do you think that we're just probing too much and we're just assuming?
People are suggesting that this might have been the person who moved the it's starting to look very suspicious, right? And people are saying that these images are being scrubbed from the internet. Okay, they're scrubbing any pictures that they had together, all of these things. People were saying his entire Twitter account was glazing David, then he deleted all of his David-related tweets. I think he would have made a statement by now. He crashed out on the YBG streamer over smaller things. I personally think he's lawyered up or being investigated. Never asked Neo why he touched you with the girls. Santi OSCS. It's another picture here. Neo with the girl in the background that a lot of people thought was Celeste. Is that David and Celeste in the back? And people are saying this is the other Celeste, Celeste Herrera. And is that David and the real Celeste? Right? Now, there's an interesting comment here, okay, that actually is underneath a post that's basically all about the news about the body being allegedly frozen, okay? And this is an interesting comment that kind of touches on Neo. It says, so with this awful news that she was decapitated and frozen, it tells me that they took their time on deciding what to do with the remains. Knowing teens, or almost teens, they eventually forgot about it for the most part, as David probably left it in Neo's capable hands. Again, I believe he is the alpha in all of this. More concerned about his upcoming tour and concert at Coachella at the time, how should the police proceed from here? My 2 cents, if Neo is only an accomplice after the fact, then they need him to flip and give him a deal. If, however, he actually took part in this from the beginning, some posters here think Neo and David were romantically involved, then it would be difficult for the cops to get a confession, and they will have to put this case together through circumstantial evidence, which will be difficult. Praying for justice for Celeste. So this was the original post 2 months ago that Neo posted after cleansing his socials of any mentions of
Master that said he points up to make sure she's on film as proof of life because he's going to kill her and freeze her mess with death timeline and use a Tesla trunk that bugs have hard time getting slow processed too. Innocent Killer says, yes, I believe they were messing around. Yashoda said, Neo is going to crack soon. He will voluntarily come forward now that this gay angle is being pursued and has become a motive for murmur.
Him or David. He said, I mean, yeah, eventually I'm going to say something, but I kind of hate forcing myself into solitude, because people on the internet assume the worst in people and will make up legit anything out of nothing. He's calling it nothing. So eventually I'll say something when I'm ready to. Love all the real people that have been kind to me and don't make false assumptions. Right? People saying they're wondering how much they know. All right? So he says that people on the internet will legit make anything out of nothing. Nothing. A dead child in his bro's car trunk is nothing. Interesting, if not sociopathic, take on the matter. All right? Salitude. Now, this was a whole month ago. Somebody put together an entire activity timeline of everything that Neo has been involved in. All right? This is Neo's activity timeline. So let's just look at all the stuff where Neo is mentioned. They're saying, after the PI's statements caused some concerns, I thought I'd do a timeline regarding Neo's whereabouts according to his social media profile. I do understand that picture dump style posts consisting of images that are taken over a time period and not necessarily one single day, so I will decrease my focus on such posts. Do also note a lot of his social media is deleted or privated, so I'm going on what I have and what his friends posted, okay? So it says here, 25th of July, Neo was, hang on. All right, so I'll just focus on all the stuff, where Neo is kind of mentioned and he's relevant. Okay, 25th of July, he was seen partying on David's IG stories, photoed wearing a grey ribbed knit sweater. Then on the 2 days later, he was seen partying on IG wearing David merch with a giant Labubu. 29th of July, David's black Tesla was seen moving for the last time on surveillance by an individual wearing identifiable clothing who immediately went on tour afterwards. The individual was also spotted wearing the same identifiable clothing 12 hours before this, entering David's Vieiro Drive residence. This is suspected to be Neo. David had a show in San Francisco. Nia and Asia were both seen with him. His IG highlights showed him celebrating Tara Yummy's birthday. David is photographed at the same event wearing a bright red shirt, and Neo allegedly is still wearing the red fishnet shirt with 28 on it. And they're basically saying that that was something that he was wearing on the 28th of July. So his little outfits are getting him caught up, right? And David's continuing to play these shows. David's been on tour. 5th of August, tour date in Del Marcio. Neo posted, "We got shut down" on his IG story in the middle of the road. People are unsure if it was at his tour or another unrelated party. Neo hasn't been seen in David's vlogs. Neo's not seen. David's vlogging, he's doing shows, but he's not been seen. And then on the 9th of August, Neo posts himself at a concert in a mosh pit. Okay. Not sure if it's David's show or another unrelated party. He continues posting himself on Instagram on the 10th of August. He's partying in LA on the 16th of August. And then, a little bit of time passes, all right? Different people are seen, and eventually the car is found, all right? The car is towed, and he was still seen partying on IG. He's out in LA partying nonstop, partying with influencers nonstop, all through September. The body is found inside David's Tesla on the 8th of September. She's not identified. And on the 13th of September, still partying, all right? The body's identified on the 17th. David cancels his tour. He's seen at TwitchCon. Seen partying again. He's partying. He's having a great time. Halloween party. Says, with that, we can see that Neo was consistently hanging out with David before his tour. He was also partying almost daily. We can confirm that Neo was present at David's tour dates in California, but not in other states. He was confirmed to be back in LA by the 10th of August. This means he cannot be completely ruled out as the person who moved the car initially before David went on tour, or moved the car last any time before the 27th of August when David's car was marked. People are asking here, what is Neo's role in David's life? Is he like his media manager, tag along, or just a friend? Do these young folks work? Help me understand this bizarre anime culture. And people are saying he was extremely close to David. If they did work with him, he was probably an honorary title. Another commenter mentioned that Azio was a videographer and photographer, but I didn't find anything in his album credits to support that, and I checked till 2023. Now, some people on Reddit, they believe
Yashoda said, well, David probably will say that Neo killed the girl and he just helped cut her up out of panic. Neo is either going to be the witness or the fall guy eventually. You think so?
That Neo actually went back to David's mansion whilst David was still on tour. This was the first show of his tour where he went Hello Kitty on him, and he asked his crowd members to throw Labubus on stage, and he's chilling there with Neo. All right. Swipe image. The first day of tour, David had the digital camera on him. After the California shows, Neo didn't stay for the rest of the tour. A digital camera was found by the private investigator Steve Fisher at the mansion with Celeste's last photo. Neo must have probably went back to the mansion and left the digital camera. Why? Who knows? Speculation. Someone says, I remember watching.
That's weird. So hold on. First day of the tour, David had the digital camera on him. After the Cali shows, Neo didn't stay for the rest of the tour. A digital camera was found by PISF at the mansion with Celeste's last photo, and that's the tree photo that we were looking at earlier today. A digital camera was found by PISF at the mansion with Celeste's last photo. Neo must have probably went back to the mansion and left the digital camera. Why? Who knows? Just speculation. Okay, so what about this camera?
For the rest of the tour, a digital camera was found by the private investigator Steve Fisher at the mansion with Celeste's last photo. Neo must have probably went back to the mansion and left the digital camera. Why? Who knows? Speculation. Someone says, I remember watching one of his blogs and Neo was there with a group. Someone asked him if it was his crib, and of course he said, no, this is David's. Maybe he was given the key regularly. It's not like the manager would have one key if he lived out of town. So they're thinking he might have been back inside of the mansion. One theory's going around where they say, my theory, David, Asia, and Neo could have possibly given Celeste drugs to have hushed her because they didn't want her to expose David, and things went left. This is only a theory. But somebody says, this is my theory on what could have happened. If you disagree, that's fine. I'm not stating it's factual. To keep it straight to the point, I feel like the whole group was together. David, Asia, and Neo, and maybe whoever else is in this group, and Celeste was there, and she could have said something or did something that could have made them scared or triggered fear of David being exposed for being in a relationship with a minor. And knowing them, they probably all feel like they have to stick together because they all kiss David's ass. David's the meal ticket. So they could have possibly isolated her or gave her something or a drug to kind of calm her down or relax her to be quiet. She could have possibly OD'd or things went too far. And instead of David stepping up and helping her, they let her pass away instead of rushing her to the hospital. That's when they covered everything up and put her into his car. I feel like this could have happened between February and April in a sort of private area. North of Los Angeles, perhaps? Then he took that Santa Barbara trip to possibly go meet up with someone, I feel like a male, to get advice on how to handle this situation, or possibly to get rid of her cell phone, drugs, or whatever evidence. I don't know, but I feel like this was one big cover-up. For some reason, I feel like Asia definitely knows the details, because I get the feeling that Asia never liked Celeste. But regardless, investigators should see who he knows in Santa Barbara, and they need to track his movements there. Now, this is another theory that's crazy that's going around. I've seen a few people saying this. It says, I think David killed Celeste and tried to frame Neo in the others. That's why he asked Neo to move the car right before the tour. Now, in his defense, he may say it was them trying to frame him. This is my theory. He could also store the body in the freezer, and right before the tour, he placed it in the trunk. The narrative would be that he did not use the car for months, or that he did let his friends use it. Certain people on the internet were bringing this narrative into circulation. But other people say, I think someone was paid to take care of her body with the machinery found at the house, but the car got towed too soon. The plan was they would all be on tour to have alibis. I think it's a very interesting theory. Now, there's a few cursed images going around of this little trio, Asia, David, and Neo. And this is one that's interesting that got posted yesterday. It says, David states these people are family. Every last one of them have wiped their pages clean of him, and the rest of the pages are private. It says the fam. Asia, David, Neo. I don't know if that's Celeste Herrera. I'm not sure. People are saying this is the most shallow family I've ever seen. Everybody was quick to saving their own asses once the case got traction. Clowns. And I remember those screenshots shared by one of the Redditors from a sub who got a text saying she's known Asia for a long time and she has no involvement in the case. Plus, his friend also added that Asia was not close with David. Well, here it is. The picture clearly shows they were close. Family. The fam. The fam. But he doesn't really, barely even knows it. Family, dump a body, I barely know him. But no, now they've scrubbed the pages, right? Pages have been scrubbed clean. But it doesn't wipe the past clean, all right? People are saying they're all involved or some are. All of them, including David's management or immediate PR team, are cooked. And I think Neo is the main one who did a lot of the dirt. People say, dude, I've been saying this. I think Neo is who the police were referring to when he said they had help dismembering. People forget David is short as F. There's no way he's lugging a body around on his own, let alone moving her. It would also make sense why she is dismembered as well, because David is really short. Neo from the beginning has been acting nervous as hell. If you got anything to be nervous about, Or if he ain't got anything to be nervous about, then why is he trembling where he stands? That's not an innocent boy. The photos from the Withered tour before they shut it down, Neo looks so bad, like bags under his eyes. He looks just sick. Maybe he is sick, I don't know, but he's the most definitely involved one. That's what a lot of people are saying. Now, this was a post that Neo made. This was going around the David 2 subreddit 17 days ago. It says, Neo posted for the first time in a while, look at the choice of song. That fuckboy is either tone deaf or taunting a dead 14-year-old on purpose. And he posted the Playboi Carti song, Stop Breathing.
Yashoda, yeah, you're right. That was the deluxe version. His tour was Withered Tour, so I think the album came out earlier. I did just double check, and it was supposed to come out, or I think it came out. The release date was April 25th, 2025.
That's a classic Playboi Carti song where he's talking about all the gang wars and murders that have secretly been going on that, you know what I'm saying? People don't realize that Playboi Carti really blood, really five, like that. But to be playing the song Stop Breathing in the background, and he said, I've got the people going crazy watching all my moves. It's a little bit suspect. People are saying he's as insufferable as that imbecile David, okay? People saying that there's all weird little things that Neo's posted, posts and unposts, unsent projects. People are saying there was plenty that was pretty sus, but this is my smoking gun, posted in September the 22nd, 2025. It says, hey, buddy, it's me. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you and everyone can forgive me before my time is up. The sent unsent project to Neo. I don't really know what that means, right? But they're saying
Have I been on mute this whole time? Ah, haha, funny. Let me just go back. So this was one that I have in my possession. This one says that it's to Neo. I was brave once, and I'm sorry I made you pay the price. That wasn't fair, but we can't speak again. The other one that I have right here. Hold on. TMZ just came out with an article really quick. Hold on. 1 second. Let's read this now. Breaking news. The house David rented had a freezer. Cops focus on storage of Celeste Rivas's body. Now, this is breaking news. This literally just came out 1:59. It's 2:03, so it just came out 4 minutes ago. So, house David rented had a freezer. Cops focus on storage of Celeste Rivas's body. Oh my God, not this photo, not the actual freezer in their refrigerator, in their house, in their kitchen. Singer David, a suspect in the presumed homicide of Celeste Rivas, had a freezer large enough to store a body. A relevant fact since her body had apparently been frozen for months. So this is the house on Doheny Drive or the Vireo Drive, whichever one you want to call it. But this is the mansion house, right? It says, check out this photo of David's rental home. It was taken a few years ago, and it shows the kitchen had a KitchenAid refrigerator / freezer. The freezer side of the appliances has a height of around 74 inches, a width of around 14 inches and a depth of roughly 27 inches. The temperature can get as low as -8 degrees Fahrenheit. Hold on. Celeste was 5'3" and 120. TMZ broke the story. Her body was found in a bag in D4VD's Tesla. Hold on, you guys. I normally post this stuff to Reddit. Damn. Okay. It was decapitated and the arms and limbs cut off, so it could have fit in the freezer if the shelving inside had been removed. By the way, a torso for a 5'3" woman falls between 15 to 17 inches long and 14 to 15 inches wide. Mind you, we don't know if the police have zeroed in on the freezer, but as we first reported, the body was partially frozen when it was found. This after an extended period of time in David's trunk back in August when it was hot in LA. The LAPD executed a search warrant on the home shortly after the body was discovered. There's also video that has resurfaced on social media from September 4, 2024, showing David in a house, not his rental, with an appliance box behind him. The box appears to be a convertible chest freezer with a removable storage basket. It has a capacity of 7 cubic feet. By the way, the last photo of Celeste we've seen is from September 2024. We don't know if this freezer has any connection to the case. All right, you guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. 1 second. Sorry about that, you guys. I am back. Let me catch up on the chats really quick. Yoshida says, so she died after April 25th. The bracelet he must have given her with the W for withered, which was found on her dead remains. Is there a temp you can keep the body that is not freeze but still can keep the body? Died August 23rd. After the show, he pointed up at her. Yes. Innocent Killer said yes. Yoshida said no. Without temperature control, the body is subject to temperature fluctuations. Master Death and Hancock said that's why the PI said they were rushed and posting wrong and saying TMZ is full of it. Yoshida said, which house? The LA one? Yoshida, so this is the mansion house. So not to be confused, because both houses that he had, whether it was the mansion house or the second rental where supposedly Celeste had been staying at, which we don't know is confirmed, but that is the second house is the streaming house where they would, they would do all of their live stream, and it's the infamous live stream with Celeste and David in it. But this is the mansion house. So both houses are on Doheny Drive, right? One's on Doheny Drive, and then I believe the second house, the streaming house, is on Doheny Place. So they both are on Doheny, or the first mansion will sometimes be referred to as the Vareo Drive one. So both houses are on Doheny. know it's kind of confusing. Yashoda said it had to be a deep freezer where you store your meat in, with the top opening and 100 to 200 liter capacity. They should search for that in Santa Barbara. Yeah, that's so weird. Man, oh man, oh man. That is crazy. So TMZ just came out with this article. Do you guys think Santa Barbara has any significance to this case, or do you think that's just something that's throwing everybody off? I don't know. It's weird because let's go to Instagram. Excuse me. And so this is another Instagram of David's called Extra D4VD. And this Instagram was created on the first post, at least, was posted 46 weeks ago on January 2nd. Now, SF Investigates claims that the last proof of life that he has of Celeste is on January 2nd. And so if you take a look at these photos, it is at a beach. Looks like it's on a coastline. Let me see. Was it this video? Which video was it? The reason why I kept going back to this part right here. I don't know. I just kept this part right here where they're at the beach and then they just keep posting some city shots. But let's take a look at the translation. The translation for this is death from smoking. What this has anything to do with, I have no idea. But this account, I don't know if it was actually created on the 2nd of January, but again, this is the last proof of life, the date of the last proof of life that SF Investigates says he has of her. So that is very weird. This photo right here. Now, some people are saying that this does resemble some areas in Santa Barbara. Now, I don't know, if there is any relevance. However, this was posted the day after on January 3rd. The caption is in Japanese, so can't read it, but the translation does say my site is beautiful. Mean if found intact out the trunk, that changes everything. Stoic says, geez, justice for Celeste Rivas. His freezer got down to -8 degrees Fahrenheit. They said that's pretty far below freezing at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That is very true. Master Death says, but seems no way she's not that small. I mean, to be stuffed in the freezer? You mean, Master Death? Too small to be in a freezer? I mean, not if her body was actually cut up, right? It's just weird that these photos here are posted January 2nd, January 3rd. Right, here's another photo of a rock that says hi. Here's another one, also written in Japanese, says, not my best work, but I meditated here today. January 4th. They have some evidence from, sorry, let me read that a lot. They must have some evidence for them to have put Santa Barbara as a place of interest. So I think something happened there, or it happened in LA and he drove her body to Santa Barbara to be cut and stored. So yesterday in the Two Angry Men podcast, Mark Garagos was saying that not only have they identified a second suspect, but they also do believe that Celeste's body was in the car during that trip. So to me, that's really suggesting that she may have potentially died before that trip was made. Right now, I don't know if I'm tripping. But to me, I feel like she may have died earlier than the springtime. Now, I don't know, um, the significance of the Santa Barbara trip, but Margaragos was saying that what they did was they started from the last day that the Tesla was moved, which was July 29th. And what they did was they started working their way backwards. So what they were doing was they must have used Tesla dating tracking information. They must have used phone records. And Margaragos did say that there were posts that were being made, that were being tracked as well. So I don't know if it was the metadata from the specific posts. And he also did mention that I guess the LAPD or whoever's investigating had to subpoena those records. So there was some specific information or some data that they must have gotten to make that determination. And what they were saying was that they were able to triangulate the positions of David and this second suspect, and pinpoint them in the same exact spot around the same time. So they were saying that, obviously, not only did he make that trip to Santa Barbara, but whoever that second person is that was identified not only had involvement before, during, but also after, the Santa Barbara trip. So it's a lot. I don't know. What do you guys make of it? He has a song, Sunrise, talks about keeping at 40 degrees, that freeze temp for a morgue. Kalohi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, check that pic of The Rock and High again. Upside down, it says 14, her age when she died. Let's see. Let's go back to it. I think it was this one. Oh, you can definitely, yeah. I mean, it would read as 14 if it was upside down. That's so weird. That is just so odd. That's crazy. So yeah, I don't know if this freezer pick has anything to do with the situation. Where is it at? No, this one right over here. Yeah, not this one. Let's see. Kalohi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Very, very odd. This one was posted on January 13th. This one does not have a translation, but we're going to figure out a way to translate it. Hold on. And do me a favor, you guys, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We are a very small channel and we are just trying to, progress through this algorithm. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. This helps out with the algorithm and it pushes it out. So, if you guys enjoy the content, you want me to continue to keep making content, do me a favor. It's free, right? It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button or subscribe. But this translation right over here for this says, I want to live on the moon. Well, we want you to live in the ground, actually, right? You know what, Yashoda? I was totally thinking that earlier. Could this have been some sort of sacrificial ritual? I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist, and I'm always going to listen to, an alternative version of the story. It's just, I don't know. How can you prove that, right? I mean, we can't prove it. But do I think so? Yes. Somebody had brought up before too, that there were specific dates of ritual sacrifices that were supposed to take place. I don't know if I took a screenshot of that. Let me see if No, I don't have it. I don't have it. I wish I did, but unfortunately I do not. But also, if you guys have any information, any tips, anything that you guys want to share, my email's right there at the bottom of the screen. It's flojotv@gmail.com. But yeah, I love to share whatever information I have or I find. So, I mean, obviously, if you guys have come over to my channel, you guys have probably seen me fairly active in a lot of other creators' channels too. So big shout out to all of the other creators. And big shout out to Mark the Shark, been rocking with him and his channel since the beginning of this case. Shout out to Rabbit, and shout out to Zav and Strategic Eyes, because they're doing a hell of a job covering this as well. There's so many content creators that are covering this. So, if you guys haven't already, go to all of their pages and check out their content. They are amazing content creators, and they do such a crazy job at this. It's one of the reasons why I kind of just jumped in and decided that, maybe I'll give this a try too. Also, if there are any other cases that you guys would like me to cover, let me know. Like Mukini, oh God, I can't even pronounce that. Hawaiian is always so difficult. Hey, nope, not even gonna do it. Nope. Sorry, Kalohi, I tried, but I'm gonna embarrass myself. Master Death said, usually the case when strangled, it's a rage killing in anger. He posted the knife in her last pic. That's also the murder weapon. Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, there's got to be a reason why SF Investigates posted those 4 photos, right? He posted those 4 photos for a very specific reason. This being one of them, right? Let's see if I don't know if I have all the other ones. I've got to have them somewhere. He posted this one. I don't know what the significance is to that. He posted the knife video or the knife photo. And then there's this video too. This one has X-Files music. Mu'u Kiniheo. Mu'u Kiniheo. Tell me more about that place. Sounds spooky. No, he got billion downloads. He padded his numbers. His new music's not as popular. Even his fans saying he changed didn't like it as much. I did hear earlier this morning, though, that there were some new leaked music that came out. Should we listen to it? Should we take a listen to it? Put a 1 in the chat if you wanna listen to it. Let me see if I can find it. It's a song called So Long Goodbye. But we're only gonna listen to it here first if you guys drop a 1 in the comments. And if the video gets flagged, then we'll just cut this part out. Kalohi, man, I want to go back to Hawaii so bad. I haven't been to Hawaii since 2012. It's been forever. And then again, you guys, I'm not asking for anything, all right? But I'm going to just let you guys know that down at the bottom, I do have my Venmo handle down there. There's supposed to be a barcode at the top right for Buy Me a Coffee, but I've been told that it doesn't work. I've even tried it. It doesn't work. You know, it's worked like 4 or 5 times looking at it. Let's try it again. No, I want... But for some reason, I don't know. It only decides to work when it wants to. I don't know why. But if you guys want to support the channel, you guys can go ahead and buy me a coffee. The link is buymeacoffee.com/FlojoTV with a Q at the end. I don't know why there's a Q, but that's what they put on there. But yeah, is there anything else you guys have? You guys want to talk about? Because if not, I'm probably just going to wrap it up here and call it a day. My dog has been lying on the couch, and I know that he's waiting, to be taken out for a walk. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a day? If you guys have any tips, any news, do me a favor and go ahead and send it to me at flojotv@gmail.com. And if not, that is going to be it for today. Stoic said, that's super interesting, Kalohi. I love the history and ritual from around the world. The Killing Stone at... Hold on, how do you say it again? Mukiniheo? God. Is large, flat stone where human sacrifices were performed, introduced by the Tahitian high priest Pa'au. This practice was intended to ensure success in war. Wow. Wow. And I know somebody had told me too that this photo right here, the double head photo, has a lot of manga and anime symbolism. I don't keep up with any kind of anime or manga, so I have no idea what it is. But I did look it up, and it did say, some of the things could relate to it. Lexi Moreno, thank you for stopping by. I think I'm going to call it a day, you guys. So we're just going to pause it right here. Kalohi, thank you. Lexi, thank you for stopping by. Master Death, Stoic Dissension. Who else? Yashoda, thank you for keeping the chat active. Who else do we got here? Jad. I know Dubs was here earlier. Bean Baby. Darcy. Didi was here. Innocent Killer, thank you for stopping by. All of you guys. Again, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. As soon as I hear anything new, I'll probably jump on. I'll probably start, trying to stream more. I wish I could just do this all day, but unfortunately I have a full-time job. I got to work my Monday through Fridays. So I normally do stream, but it's normally in the evening when I get home from work. But if you guys have a time that you guys prefer or you guys would like, for me to come on, drop it down in the comments. Yeah, if there's nothing else to talk about, I think I'm going to call it a day. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Peace.